Hey everybody, it's that time of the week again. Toriko! Chapter review. Chapter 721. Or not 721. I'm getting things mixed up. So many reviews. Alright, 321. And then this week's chapter is called The Revival Party. And basically, we see that the other group that had been coming to the gourmet world following Toriko and the others is on the island. Well, first, actually, they broke into two camps. The first camp went on ahead while the second camp was just getting on the island and heading towards Birth Guide Tree. We see the first group that got onto the area already made it to the Birth Guide Tree. First we see Zonge-san, Zonge doing his, stupid shtick and whatnot. And then we switch to the first group getting to, the Birth Guide Tree, and they're like, "Oh my God!" They're like, "What's happened? What's happened to Toriko now? What happened?" And it's like, all the monkeys are partying. Like, what? And they meet up with Toriko and the others, and they see that they've all turned into women because of Pear. And apparently, another interesting revelation. And of course, they had their funny reactions and blah 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 blah. But what's interesting is, they talked about the various things they had, and apparently, and this one's interesting, is that the son Toriko apparently uh, has become Coco's hors d'oeuvre of his full course, which shouldn't be a surprise, I guess, because it's basically like a poison type food. So it's interesting. So next we see the group, eating. Again, it was focused a lot, in the beginning at least, on the various funny reactions to the characters having breasts. They show them, oh look, this is Pear, and that, you know, so Rin shows up and he's like, oh, and of course Komatsu found some monkeys that are chef monkeys, and they talk about how the various effects, including the ability to see the food spirit, as the underworld, which we now know is the back channel, and we find out that they are food spirits, and that we find out a little more about them and how they have the ability to, they are like kind of like spirits who have unfinished business in terms of ingredients, and then we also find out that they can whisper to chefs to, cooks the correct way to cook ingredients. And of course, when you have the most delicious, you open the door to the world of souls, which Pear. They find Guimon's and his buddy's body, Sete Master Male's body, who aren't actually dead. They are in a state of suspended death through the power of knocking. And, they're using the power of Pear, and, with Pukin, they were able to revive him. And, they're all good. And so we also find out that apparently what Teppei did was not only did he destroy Komatsu's heart, he immediately revived it to make it stronger. Why would he do that? Because, as we find out, they finally reveal that Komatsu is at work in his gourmet cells, and now has a gourmet cell demon dwelling inside of him, and that was why he did that, in order to prevent his heart from exploding from the immense load of the gourmet demon. So we may see Komatsu actually get some strength now, and they say, oh well, even though they found out that even after they found this out, Toriko still doesn't want to trust Teppei so easily, and they decide to have a toast to celebrate his revival. And you see Zonge coming in as a woman because he drank Pear, and you find out all the women are scared, all the monkeys are scared of him, and he's like, oh, I must have a high capsule level, like some friggin' 100 million, no, 1 billion, no, 10 trillion. And then of course we go back to the group, and the group have eaten Pear again, so Toriko and the others are back to normal, back to being men. Of course, the others could have drinking it. We do get a chance to see, somewhat see from a distance, but not completely see the female zebra. But from what I can tell from all their designs, it looks like they did their faces and didn't change. Like none of their faces changed really. It was just slim body with breasts, and a vag, which we obviously is. And they look at, they're looking at him. It's like, oh, they're making fun of him. And then Kaka's like, oh my god, and everyone's afraid of him. It's like, they're like, what? And then they're like, wait, they know first they're like make fun of him, and then they're like, wait a minute, haven't we seen that face recently before? And then out of note, when he's like, you hear Bambina shows up. It's like, well, what? And all the monkeys are like, ugh, and it's like, and we find out that Zonge's face looks almost identical to the Monkey King's lover. And now, the Monkey King's like super happy and, hugging him, and, he's like, oh, Zonge's bones are breaking. So I guess that was the funny joke of Zonge showing up to the new, or not the new, the gourmet world. And they're all kind of like that whole, like. So overall, this chapter was pretty good. I really liked it. There was some comedy, and there was also some. We also learned a lot of information. We still don't know exactly everything Pear's done to add, physically for their bodies yet, but we do know. The important things we learned was that Coco decided his hors d'oeuvre in the song Toriko. So far, none of the four kings, heavenly kings, have added the pear as their, to their full course menu, which I would think they would all, someone would add it. But anyway, and then there's also the fact that we learned that Zonge's face apparently looks exactly like Bambina's face, looks exactly the same as Bambina's lover, which no one probably predicted because, no one was really thinking of Zonge when they were seeing Bambina's lover. There was also, we learned that, more about the food spirits, and we learned what happened to Guimon. We also learned, and it was officially revealed to the characters, not just revealed to us, that Komatsu not only has unleashed unlocked his gourmet cells, but unlocked his gourmet demon. And apparently, from their theory, based on what happened to Komatsu's heart, that it was completely annihilated and then immediately revived in order to create a stronger heart that can handle the load of having this gourmet demon. So overall, I really enjoyed this chapter very much. Had a lot of, like I said before, funny and, very informative. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this review, and hope to see you guys next week.
So believe it or not, I actually don't have much to say about Toriko this week. Even though this was a good chapter, definitely. Um, what do I really want to talk about? I guess I want to briefly talk about Goemon. I want to talk about Tepe, and honestly, that may be. Oh, and of course, Komatsu and the gourmet cells. I guess those are really the only three things I want to talk about. I mean, the rest of it was kind of fluff to me, and which it was good fluff. And but of course, I'm going to mention the thing at the end, but which was too fucking funny. Um, but to start, let's talk about Goemon and the fact that it was when they lost, it was thanks to the Blue Nitro who showed up, not necessarily the Bishokukai, because we know that they were all beaten, but it wasn't necessarily said that it was the Blue Nitro who won. It was sort of more implied that the Bishokukai members had won, but that's not the case. So, like, when we thought that they were dead, well, though some of them were revealed to be alive. So, basically, Milk's knocking must have come off much quicker. I don't know who must have undone the knocking, but it was said that the knocking was so well done, so refined, that it was easy to undo it. So, I mean, that was good. So, Goemon and the others are kind of pretty much back, so they all had knocking on them and they're fine. So I mean, it's fine. I don't really care either way. But either way, I guess the second thing I want to talk about is the fact is about Tepe, um, and the prospect that he's actually doing something good, or perhaps he's trying to keep Komatsu alive for bad reasons, or if he just did it because and accidentally awakened his gourmet cells. So really, at the same time, his gourmet cells had been activated before when they smelled the apple that had been in the gourmet worlds, or had the scent of an eight king on it. Basically, Komatsu reacted with gourmet cells, with the markings of gourmet cells on his forehead or something, his face somewhere, and whatever this did must have this revival technique of destroying but also creating, it must have awakened it even further. And so, I mean, I'm assuming as he progresses, he's going to be able to open up his gourmet arm or whatever, or his monster, with eating more of Akashi's full course. Um, so, I mean, that's really it. I mean, it's interesting. I don't have an opinion on whether or not he's evil or not. Well, obviously he's being controlled. He's had his gourmet tasting um, change. So whether or not he's broken that or if he's still in it, I don't know because we can only speculate at this point. But either way, I thought it was interesting. And then what else? I kind of talked about Tepe and uh, Komatsu together. So last thing I really want to talk about, I guess, is similar, like basically the fact that um, what well Coco he added it to his full course, right? Pair. So it looks like Coco is taking pair for himself. Uh, oh no, never mind. He took the Sandorico. That's right. I read this chapter this morning when I first woke up, so um, sometimes it can be a bit hazy. But either way, he's basically taking the Sandorico into it's going to be in the hors d'oeuvres, and so that's good. Um, it's interesting that we got something from Coco. We usually don't, but that's fine. And the last thing I want to talk about, of course, is the ending because Zonge finally got fucked, literally, probably. Um, Zonge looks like a monkey, and Bambina. Oh my gosh, fucking Monkey King Bambina looks at him, and he's like, "Hey." It's like you're back. Oh my gosh. And basically he starts to looks like he's hugging him, but it looks like Zonga is gonna get a taste of what it means to be in prison. Just saying. I don't know. It's funny. So I mean, this chapter was good. We had a lot of content, and I really didn't want to talk too much about it, but I just thought those particular points were worth talking about on my end at least. So thank you all for watching, and don't know if we'll see you next week, but we'll see you sometime soon.